Good afternoon friends, and welcome to our afternoon video here at the Purple Mountain. From myself and from Chris, we send you much love and many blessings from us at the Purple Mountain, the White Turtle Lodge here in Fleetwood. We send you much love from us here. I'd like to say that we've got a lovely 60 minutes entailed for you, all about crystal healing, all about how and which crystals we can use to help heal animals, our animal friends, our companions. And also Chris will be discussing shortly after myself, and we having a fantastic talk on crystals related to plant healing, how we can use crystals to assist with plant healing. And I think he's going to talk a little bit about the garden and also the plants within the home. And it's fantastic knowledge that we've gained over the years, some of the spiritual knowledge that we've gained from spirits. I'm just going to wait a couple of minutes before we allow some more people to come online. Do we have anybody on that we know yet, Chris?
Yeah, Elizabeth's joined us.
Hi Elizabeth, hope you're all right.
Shane, good afternoon.
Good afternoon,
Good
blessings. That's fantastic. Just going to wait a couple of more minutes before we get officially started. So this afternoon we're going to talk about crystals and how we can use crystals with our animal friends, because we often talk about crystals, how we can use crystals for ourselves and with our family and our children, and it's rarely talked about how we can use crystals in related to our animal friends. And Chris is going to talk about assisting with plant healing as well, how we can use crystals with plants. And I will also, what I'm going to do first is going to read out a lovely animal poem that our sister Anita wrote through the inspiration of Malachi many years ago, and I think it's just very apt with today's topic, and also the importance that our animals brings to our lives, if that makes sense to everybody. And then I'm going to give a message, see if our animal friends in the spirit world have got a little bit of a message for us, and we're going to use some what we call animal cards. So I'm trying to spice things up a little bit, instead of myself and Chris just sitting and just reading off what we've got here, but try to make things a little bit different. So if you do have any questions, if you've got an animal friend that needs a little bit of healing, and you just wondered what kind of crystal to use, then do write on our page, and one of myself or Chris will write back and give you a bit of assistance, a bit of guidance related to some crystals that we can use, that you can use at home safely. And that's very important, because what we don't want animals, and you know what dogs and cats are like, they'll pick up a crystal and they'll swallow it. So we're going to look at different types of crystal, different shapes of crystals, and how to use them safely in the self-healing process. Sometimes you can use crystals to place them under the animal's bed that will help the healing process as well. So shall we begin, Chris? Do you have a few people logging on? Okay, so the weather is gone a little bit cooler. So wherever you are, is the weather hot or is it cold? I know it's gone a bit cooler here in Fleetwood, which is nice sometimes, because it can be too warm sometimes. So this is titled Our Animal Friends. The animals walk the earth with us. There's plenty of room for all. They have a right to live their lives, no matter how large or small. They too have things they have to learn, just like you and me. They have to learn to trust in us, and sometimes that's hard to do. So spare a thought for our animal friends. They do not ask for much. A kindly word, a loving thought, or just a tender touch. They ask so little in return for all the love they give. They only want what is their right, and that's their right to live. To share with us the bounties that are plentiful for all. The grass so green, the sky so blue, and the trees stand so tall. They would like to live their lives in peace, just like you and me. But there are many upon the earth plane who just won't let this be. What sort of man would stand and watch things that they call sport, and feel no pain or sorrow as an animal is sadly caught? To watch it die in pain and fear, and then simply walk away. There isn't much hope for that lost soul. There's a lot to say. There are also those who take our friends and put them in a cage. If this was done to humans, this not cause a terrible outrage? So spare a thought for the animal world and pray they can live in peace, and hope that one day man will learn that cruelty must finally cease. Life's hard enough for them, you know, just surviving day by day. There are many becoming extinct, you know, without us helping them on their way. So let nature take its natural course and do not intervene, or there will be many beautiful creatures that our children would have never seen. So send your thoughts and hope one day that man will finally understand God made us to walk upon this land. So that's a beautiful poem. I really enjoyed reading that. I can feel the energy building up on there with myself. And what we're going to do now, I'm going to shuffle these animal cards, my friends. And what we're going to do, we're going to share a bit of a message that animal friends wish to share with us. So I'm just going to choose 3 cards with you. So I'm just going to fan these out. That's 1, 2, 3, all 3, one after another. So the first card is the cheetah card, and it says get clear on your intention, stay focused and move quickly to achieve your goal. And that's very apt for humanity at the moment, to stay focused, to pull ourselves forward and to move quickly to fulfill our goals. The second card is the lovely camel, and it says trust that you have the resources to get you through the challenges before you. And I think that's just telling us that we have the power. Humanity's got the power to make those changes that we need to make. We've all got the resources, which is unconditional love. And the last card is the octopus card, and it says practice shape-shifting by altering your physical appearance and mannerisms. So I think the octopus there is trying to teach us that we've got to sort of evolve and change. We can't just be the way we've always been and do the things we've always done. We've got to evolve and adapt to what's happening in the world today, otherwise we're going to get stuck. Okay, so shall we get started? So if you do have any friends, Chris is behind the camera smiling away there, happy as Larry, aren't you, Chris? Oh, brilliant, brilliant. Okay, so shall we get started? So I'm going to do the topic on crystal healing and related to animal healing. Now, just a bit of a history there with everybody, that our relationship with the animal kingdom has really been something that has been an integral part of our past and our present and our future for humanity. Different cultures across the world have got a different relationship with different animals. You've got a lot of the Middle Eastern people that have a huge connection with cattle herding, camels. In Egypt, a lot of the animals actually live in the home, the donkeys and a lot of the cattle and the cows there, the sheep, the pigs. And it's our relationship with the animals that have built that trust and that connection. But we'll talk about, and most importantly, our companion with the animals, which is the dogs, the cats, birds. A lot of in the Indian culture, a lot of the birds are used as pets, as companions. I don't really like using the word pet because it feels like we own them, we control them. So I'll just sort of use a different terminology, our companions. And I think, I don't think there's not many of us that have not had companions in our lives, animal friends. And I remember we used to, when we were younger, we used to have a lot more different types of animals, such as I had rats, guinea pigs, tortoises, lots of fish. And I know a lot of the power of education has really changed our sort of way of thinking on having exotic animals within the home. Really, the most important, they belong in the wild, and same do fish. There's only one place fish should be, and that's in the sea where they belong. And that's the same with birds. I think it's one of the cruelest things really to keep birds, because they should be flying out in nature and enjoying the skies. That's the wings. and I do think sort of the power of education has shifted between our relationship with animals. I think we're becoming a lot more aware. A lot more people are becoming vegan and become plant-based diet and vegetarians. A lot of people now, a lot of young children are much more aware, are much more awakened, I believe, in sort of understanding their relationship with the animal kingdom. So really, hopefully they will succeed where maybe our generation and our grandparents' generation, our parents' generations have failed in sense. But so far, there's a lot of us in the world, and even today, that we do. I've got two beautiful cats that live in my home, my beautiful animals. I'm sure there's lots of you that've got cats and dogs and birds as companions at home. Now, one thing that I really try to instill with everybody is that animals have a spirit, just like me and you. They feel pain, they feel emotions, they get depressed, they get anxious, they get overexcited, they become very shy. They all have their own personality because they are a spirit in a physical body. It's just the physical body is different. And we can all communicate with our animals, and that's through unconditional love. I try to reinstate that all the time in all our talks, is our relationship between our animal friends. And we'll talk about that later on. And why I'm talking about that is because try to sort of instill in your mind that our animal friends, they feel and they sense, they experience, they're here on the earth to progress. They're here to live a physical life. And I think what animals really do, in my opinion, they show humanity the feelings of hopefulness. They give us the sense of unconditional love. They give that sense of light and trust, because no matter what we do to our animals or our companions, they love us no matter what, and they rely on us to feed them, to care for them, to pet them, to take them to the vets, to heal them, to look after them. But most importantly, they are there for us as well. They can give us the healing. They'll give us the light and the love that we need as well when we feel down, when we feel sad. Now, one thing that I've really seen over the years, and Chris will probably agree with me here, is how much we can imprint on our animal friends, and how, you know, we may worry about something, we may be very anxious about it, and the animal will pick up on that energy, because animals are very, very sensitive to chi and to energies of the home. They're great protectors of the home. That's important, but also that bond that they have with the pack. The pack is us. The pack is the family, and they will sense and feel the energies in the home, both negatively and positively as well. So if you're very angry and you're shouting, on the energy is very quite low in the house, that will imprint on that animal. So when you think, oh, what's wrong with the animal, look within. There might be something that's wrong with you that the animal's picking up from you as well. Now, crystals is one of many tools that a companion, owner, you, my friends, can use to help your companion, to help your pet, help your animal in overcoming a particular injury or overcoming a particular condition. If you know that your companion is a bit depressed, or if it's overactive, if it's too playful, if it needs calming down. So there's different crystals that can help with different conditions, and that's the same within us human beings. We will use specific crystals to heal with particular conditions. We can do the same with our animal friends as well, if that makes sense to everybody. So animals, you've heard stories out there, animals that will see things. They've got a sense of perception of a higher vibration than we do. We distort and we clutter our sensory perception, and animals don't really do that. They have that very pure sort of understanding, and they can see within an auric field. They'll know if they like you or not. You know, if an animal comes to you, they will know. They're very sensitive. They're very empathic animals. So always trust what the animal's sensing, what the animal's feeling. And often you've heard stories, and they're very true, you know, when owners have had cancer, and the animals will often stay very close to the owner, because they know that the owner needs the healing. And don't underestimate the healing and the love that animal gives to you. Not just you giving to the animal, but the animal can give to you as well. Animals can help you with trauma, with sadness, with death, with an addiction, because they have that unconditional love. They don't question you. Just by being there for you is enough. Just by being there gives that sense of warmth and trust and feeling. And I think it's a fantastic, every home should consist of an animal as part of the family. They are part of the family. They're not below you. They are part of the pack. They're part of that relationship, that bond that you've created. So we've got a lot to learn from our animal friends, as much as they've got a lot to learn from us as well. And I'm hoping that relationship remain for thousands of years to come. Okay, so if you do have any questions so far, just do post on here now, and Chris will read out some of the questions to me. I want to mention as well, in terms of the different types of crystals, you can stem from the tumble stone, which is a great crystal to use, but just be careful with tumble stone. We don't want to, particularly dogs. Cats aren't too bad. Dogs get a bit silly sometimes, not being disrespectful to dogs. They will pick up the Chris is laughing there. Pick up a tumble stone, they'll swallow it, and we don't want that. When you're working with a malachite crystal, malachite can be extremely poisonous for a dog because of its high content of copper and aluminium that consist within the malachite crystal. So good crystals to have, is bigger the crystals the better. Smoother crystals that aren't too sharp. And what I use at home is smooth massage wands, because they're great for rubbing down the patient. I was going to say the patient, talk about a companion, animal friend. And remember that I always said, when we look at health and well-being, don't wait for your animal to be ill before you administer crystal healing. Do crystal healing every day or every week. Get yourself into a bit of a routine. And you'll find that the animal build a relationship with you, and it's another bonding experience between you and your companion, between you and your animal friend. And some of the very, what we call master crystals, which I'll mention now, some of the master crystals. So if you're thinking, oh my God, I can't remember all the crystals, this crystal's for this and this crystal's for that, there are 5, 6 what we call master crystals that everybody can use for nearly any physical condition related to a dog, cat or bird. Okay, and that is, one of them is the clear quartz crystal, and it's probably the most powerful crystal on the planet. And then you've got the black obsidian crystal, also another very powerful crystal. I've not got this in tumblestone, but also red jasper is also a fantastic crystal, what we call master crystal. And also one of my favourite crystals, which is a smooth massage wand, which is the selenite wand. And that's a very, very good one.
Could I ask a question?
Yes, of course you can.
This is from Mel Johnson, who's just put, she's pregnant at the moment.
Yes.
And suffering with depression, and her dog knows it.
Yes.
And she said the dog's been amazing with her, giving her lots of love. But will it affect the dog, her energies being so low?
I think animals, I think if it's prolonged, I think it's the wrong way to look at it, Mel. I don't mean this disrespectful to you. I think because you remember you are a mother, you are going to become a mother, and you've got another spirit within you, and that animal, your dog, will be able to see that. I think what's probably making you sick, what's making you a bit depressed, is the fluctuation of energy, not just physically, but spiritually as well. And I think that dog will pick that up. Now, if that was weeks and months and months and months of depression, anxiety, that will eventually, yes, it will affect the vibrations of the house, and it will affect the vibration of the dog as well. But I think that will pass. I think sometimes we can overthink things. It's a very joyous time, a very exciting time. But what the dog might pick up saying, this is going to be a new baby coming in the house, and I'm not going to be the centre of attention anymore. And dogs and cats can become very jealous. So remember, I always keep reinforcing with everybody, an animal, cats and dogs in particular, they live in a pack. They live in a pack, in which means that there is a different pecking order. So, and it's about understanding that dynamic and understanding the energies. So really things that you can do Mal at home in terms of energy is smudging the house. Just be careful with smudging because animals are very, very sensitive. I'm very careful with smudging at my house. The cats don't always like that. But a great way to help the mood in the house, which is the Himalayan salt lamps, which are fantastic. You can put one in your front room and they're not that expensive. You can, from £15 to £30, lots of different variations, and they are fantastic. Himalayan salt crystals are fantastic crystal to help calm depression or anxiousness. Have I answered that question?
Yeah, just a few people are asking as well about when our shop will be reopening. We don't know at the moment. We're waiting on the government guidelines as opposed to the market. But what we're hoping to do in the coming weeks is offer a limited. They will be selling salt lamps and smudging kits and such to local delivery. So we'll be offering a bit of a limited service, best we can, till hopefully very, very soon, if it's we will reopen. So that's just for anybody asking.
Yeah, that's perfect. I mean, so a lot of stuff we're talking about, crystals and smudging stuff, just watch this space. We'll be delivering, and one of, if it's me, Chris, and we'll have a card machine with us, and you can make a bit of an order, and we will deliver that locally.
We might turn into QVC.
I don't. Right, we're deviating here. Right. So Master Crystal, clear quartz, black obsidian, selenite. This one I think costs £6. One of the cheapest crystals, and they are fantastic to use. Make sure nice and smooth because sometimes the selenite can be edgy. Another Master Crystal is the amethyst, and also the turquoise. Which can be quite expensive. So if you do have smaller crystals, you can place them in your hand. You can stroke. That's the way I heal my cat. Sometimes, sometimes cats or dogs will just lie there, and you can put crystals on the body. And when they get up, it means they've had enough. So don't force the crystals. Let the crystal speak to the animal. It's a great experiment you can do, everybody at home. If you've got a few crystals, get your crystals out on the floor and just watch where you're putting the crystals, and let the dog or cat come over and see which ones they want to play with, which ones they're drawn to. And it's a great experiment. I did this experiment with my female cat, Ida, and she loved the carnelian crystal. And she was whacking it and playing around with it like a little ball. And that crystal was healing her at that time. She won't play with it now. My cat George, he loves the selenite, and he'll often be in my arm and I'll just rub down and he'll fall asleep. And then what you'll do, you'll kick it and say, I've had enough now, Daddy. We are their daddies. And Chris is laughing now. So I was rubbing down.
It's all coming out.
I know. I was rubbing down George with the selenite, and he was kicking it and said, I've had enough now. So I'm not going to force that, because remember, the animals will sense things a lot more than we do. Okay, so that's fantastic. So there's some of what we call master crystals, but I'm going to mention some other crystals for different conditions. So let's have a look. So let's have a look at depression. Animals get depressed like we do. We don't play with them if we're not at home, because when we leave home and they're on their own, they don't know we're going to come back. So we've got to do things that reassures them, and one of them is through crystals. Now you can place certain crystals under the animal's bed, or if there is a particular spot that your cat likes to jump on the bookshelf, or likes to sleep in a particular area, then put the crystal in that area. It doesn't have to be directly on the animal, the dog or the cat or the bird, even with the bird in the cage. And just use your initiative, just use your feelings. Now there are other things like crystal collars that you can get. Now, I would recommend against that, me personally, because like with all crystal, with crystal jewellery, we will only wear that jewellery until we feel that we've had enough of that crystal. Animals can't do that because they can't just flick the collar off. So really the most natural form of using crystals with animals, just leaving them on the side, at the side of the bed. What we do, we've got a little bit of a water fountain upstairs in our hallway where our cats drink. And it's a little fountain. I think it was about £35 from Amazon. You can get cheaper ones and more expensive. And there's a filter machine in there. And we put a piece of clear quartz, Shanghai crystal carbonates the water, cleans the water, and black obsidian crystal. And that filters the water. And tests have been done, experiments have been done where they've put crystal water and plain water, and the animal will always drink the crystal water. So water is one of the most important things that animals need. We need to hydrate ourselves. So for me, I would, if you want to get into crystals, use a clear quartz, a Shanghai crystal, black obsidian. Get them little stones like that, and put them in the water fountain, and that will activate the water, and they will drink that water. What a fantastic way of using crystals to heal the animal, to heal your animal friend. So anyway, I'm waffling here. So get back into depression. So cats and dogs can get very depressed if one of the animal friends, there might be 2 or 3 dogs in the house, or a couple of dogs and a cat, and one of the dog or cat dies. The animal will feel that. The animal will feel that loss and that grief like you. Or one of the owners might have died. How painful is that to the animal? So there are crystals, certain crystals you can use to help with that depression. And how do you know an animal's depressed? If it's not eating, if it wants to be on its own. And one thing I want to mention as well, remember in the wild, Chris, you probably remember this, not saying you're in the wild.
I've not come from the wild.
Is that when animals in the wild, what we call fight or flight, which is when an animal's been attacked and it runs away and its heart's racing and the blood's pumping up, the animal will go away somewhere on its own to calm down, to relax if it's depressed or anxious. Now, domestic animals can't do that, so it can't run away, and it's going to take them a lot longer to calm down, to calm its heart rate, to get rid of the depression, get rid of the anxiousness. That's why we've got to be mindful of, with wild animals to domestic animals, and we've got to give them space. So sometimes when a dog wants to be on its own, leave the dog on its own, leave the animal on its own.
Cats are well known for when they're in distress for taking themselves away.
Absolutely, absolutely. So sometimes when the cat disappears for a while, maybe that's what is needed at that moment in time. So depression, there is a lovely crystal called lithium quartz. So if you want to know any more information about any of these crystals, I can send you this through email. Chris will talk about plants shortly, and he can send his information to you if you require it. So it's called lithium quartz, part of the quartz family. A beautiful crystal, and it's a great crystal to help with depression. So you can use it by rubbing the patient, your companion, down with it, and don't just leave it on the side, because we don't want the animal to swallow it, the crystal, or put it underneath the bed. Put it on a particular favourite spot that the animal is, and let the animal be drawn to that crystal. Let the process be natural. So another condition is overactive animals. I know a lot of certain dog breeds are very, very overactive, and a lot of young pups are very overactive. They're running around 100 miles an hour all around. And there's a lovely crystal called the Dalmatian jasper. Now the jasper, what I call the jasper family, you've got the red jasper, and you've got the Dalmatian jasper. They're excellent crystals to bring a bit of calmness. There's another crystal to help calm your animal friend, which is I've got here in my collection, which looks very similar to Lapis lazuli, and very similar to blue howlite, and this is sodalite. Sodalite is also a very good crystal to use when somebody suffers from cancer. I've got cancer. And if a dog or cat or bird's got cancer, I'll use sodalite, and it helps them with that condition as well. So if your animal is very hyperactive and needs calming, or you want to have a meditation with the animal, because it's great to meditate with the animals, is use Zodalite or use Dalmatian Jasper. And these crystals aren't expensive. They range from 50p for £1 to £2, little crystals. And have a little box with your crystal, put your little crystals in a little box and bring it out. Just watch what the animal may need. So what if you want to communicate with your animal more? And I think that's very, very important, because you shouldn't just get an animal and that's it. They're part of the family. Speak to the animal. The animal will have a certain language that they'll build with you. And there's a lovely crystal called leopard skin jasper and also rose quartz. Two very, very important crystals that you can use to help in your communication. So if you're struggling to say, you're not listening to me, and it's a great one to use if you're just training your dog, or you're training your cat, or training your bird in litter trays or going for walks, and you want to help them in their discipline, that crystals are very good. So it's leopard skin jasper, so again part of the jasper family, and also rose quartz. Animals also suffer from anxiety, just like we do. They can get very anxious. So those that certain things, Chris, what do you think an animal will be anxious over?
A moving house.
A moving house, that's a very good. How traumatic is that for the animal? Going to the pets, horrendous. You trying to squeeze the cat in the box and the dogs are shaking in the car. Another one's thunder and lightning. Another one is fireworks, which I am so against, because it does so much damage to the birds. Now there's a lovely crystal, it's a little bit more expensive, called Diapetus, and which comes from ancient Greece or Roman crystal, and that's a very, very good crystal. So if you want any information about these crystals, let me know. So if you have any more questions about anything, let me know. I've mentioned about the water fountain, so that's a real good beginner start. Any of the animals that suffer from joints, so larger dogs will have back of the joints will often suffer first. And there is a lovely two very powerful crystal. Now this is a rough form, that's quite big. This is called hematite, and hematite can be found in tumble stones or larger stones. Now this is rough form, it's very heavy, and you can just place your hand on the particular joint, and if the dog wants to run away or walk away after 5 minutes, then that's it, the healing's being done. If they collapse on the floor and they're on their back and they're loving it, then continue with the healing. So don't force the healing. Work with the healer, work with the patient, work with the companion. And red jasper, also very good at putting down inflammation, and also black obsidian as well, good for protection, Also, this is a bit of a sad one really, which is just finishing up. I'm just finishing two more crystals here. Is we've got to, sometimes a lot of us have had to put our animals to sleep, haven't we, Chris? And it's probably one of the most saddest things that we all have to do, but there's a couple of beautiful crystals that we can use to assist us with that pain, that grief, because the animal will pick that up. And I think, in my personal opinion, is one of the saddest things I've ever had to do, is put my cat to sleep many years ago, and it's just so traumatic. So there's a crystal called Sugilite, if I pronounce that right, and also rose quartz, and you would have those crystals with the patient, and you would, with your companion, with your pet, just to make sure the transition goes smoothly. Also, turquoise is also great. My last crystal that I want to mention, turquoise, is a lovely crystal that you can use for protecting your home with animals, and the Native American Indians would often use turquoise, and it's a very good lucky colour, a very lucky crystal. So if you just want to give your animals a bit of protection, there's also Shanghai crystals that you can use that will help with radiation. You can get the little, what they call, Chris, little collars, little things you can clip on, little Shanghai crystal, and that protects them from the radiation, the 5G and the 4G, the 3G, all that radiation, the TV, the electronics. The animals will pick up on all this like we do. So they're very, very sensitive. So there's a little bit about some of the crystals that we promote here at the Purple Mountain. Like Chris said, our crystal shop will be back open soon, and we'll be doing home deliveries. So if you like to have a look at some of the stock, like the Einstein Initiative gift shop, and I think that's where we'll be promoting some of the stock, and that's our little other venture that we do apart from the spiritual work that helps fund the Purple Mountain. So I'm going to do now, we're going to hand over to Chris, and he's going to give us a lovely demonstration. I think it's falling asleep there. Oh.
Okay, good afternoon everyone. I just want to mention something there on the back foot, Stephen, is don't forget, for those of us who have a bit more time on our hands at the minute, meditate with your animals as well. That's a big one, because you'll find it'll settle down. But I've been asked to talk about plants with crystals, so we've all had lots of time, well most of us at the moment, to spend a little bit more time investing in our gardens and our plants than ever. So I hope to be able to keep it quite simple. This, as we know, crystals are part of the earth, so they connect with our plant life, with our trees, with the soil already. In a way, they're already part of that harmony, part of that system, part of the energy. But I'm just going to talk you through a few and the practical uses. Now there's three main ways that you would use crystals in healing with plants. One is to place them in the soil. The other is to place them just under the roots, deeper down. And another is to display them on the surface or place them to the side of the dish, or out if you're doing it outside. So there's three different ways with that. But I'm just going to very quickly, because I want to make it as practical as I can today, where hopefully somebody will have one of these crystals where you can go, I can put that into practice today, I can go and do it. Because that's why really we're passing this information on. So I've tried to keep it to the crystals that I feel would be the most in reach of everyone here. Now the first one is, of course, the Master Healer, the clear quartz. I think most of us are aware of clear quartz. I've got the tumblestone and the rough there. Now clear quartz is an excellent one for positive energy. So that's good for any plant really, to place within the soil or to place near. Also as well, it's very good for vegetable plants, and if you grow tomatoes, anything like that, because they actually protect their energy from disease and also pests as well, eating into the food. So they give a protection with that energy. Okay, so I hope that makes sense for that first one. So the clear quartz, excellent one if you've got either or, either the rough form or the tumblestone. Our second one that we're going to do is moss agate. Now we don't actually have any tumblestone moss agate, but that's roughly what it looks like. That's a wand. It's like a mixed green. Now moss agate, again, it's another one quite easy to get hold of in tumblestone form. It's not very expensive. The clear quartz as well, you're looking at around £1. The rough versions maybe a little bit more. But moss agate, very good one. The colour of green, it connects to the earth, to that grounding energy. So it's an excellent one for the health and vitality of a garden, moss agate. So that's a very good one, again, to choose to place where your intuition is needed. Perhaps you have a plant that is needed that energy, that needs that little bit of vitality. So you place it around it. And just remember, it's like with us with crystal healing, that you might need that crystal for so long, and then it might serve its purpose. So keep an eye on things. When you place a crystal near a plant or around a plant to do it, once it's done its work, observe it. Maybe it's time to take that away, that it's not needed anymore. So a lot of this works about trusting your intuition as well. Okay, now our third one is green aventurine, which looks like this. In ways, it's a simpler version of instead of alternative to jade, but it's very accessible green aventurine. As you can see, just a plain green colour. These are tumblestone, which would be around about £1, about £1 each. and these are excellent ones for placing in containers. So if you have a plant such as this, very good one for placing either in or at the side. Okay, and it's excellent for absorbing negative energy, for bringing a lot of calm and peace around. Okay, but it's a good one. Now this is something I didn't think about for when you've transplanted a plant, when you've moved a plant, because that plant's in trauma from being pulled up or removed from its pot. So green aventurine is an excellent one for helping with that trauma, to help bring calm. So when you move that plant, green aventurine is an excellent one. Okay, so just remember that one, really good one. It's also a good green aventurine for placing within your bird baths and fountains as well. Brings a lot of that lovely earth energy. But again, as Stephen said with some of the crystals with animals, just be cautious, because you don't want little flecks, you don't want it bothering the birds. So get a good piece, I would say. Okay, so green aventurine, and we do have this on our shop normally as well. So we're going to move on now to the malachite. Now I think most of us are familiar with malachite. That's mine. Now the malachite is actually a stone, but lovely energy within the malachite of the heart, lovely green energy, a healing energy that comes from that. And this work is from the heart. Many of us who are, what you want to say, green fingered, we give our love to our plants as we do our animals. So the malachite within itself is a stone of transformation. It's a stone of new growth and fertility. So an excellent one for your plants. So malachite is another excellent one. Moving forward, our next one is citrine. Now citrine looks like this. This is a rough form. The tumblestone would be a little bit more yellowy, but that lovely yellow colour, very symbolic of the sun and the sun's energy. So that's bringing that lovely energy, and also an energy of happiness. And it's also very good for removing toxins from plants as well. So perhaps again you have a plant that's suffering from some poison or something along that line, and it will be beneficial. So the citrine, and again the citrine in tumblestone form, you're looking at around £1, not much more. The rough form a little bit more. Okay, now our final one with the crystals is tiger's eye. Now the tiger's eye is an excellent one. Again, another grounding, strong energy, and very earthy colours, those earthy brown colours. So it's a very good one for plants. A very good one if your plants are suffering, especially house plants. And what we were actually advised from Spirit is a good thing to do is not place it within the soil. I wouldn't do it with this one because it's a very strong energy, the tiger's eye. I would just place it to the side, and then when that plant, this one's okay obviously, but when the plant regrows and comes back a little bit, then you can remove the crystal, because the crystal's done its job. And perhaps always remember to say a few words and to thank the energy of the crystal for what it's given to the plant as well. On speaking terms, we do know that talking to plants brings a very, very good results. That's been proven in many, many ways. Okay, so all them lovely crystals that you can use, that I hope some of you have got, and just trust your intuition, know when the crystal's done its job. I want to talk about a few other crystals because there are many, but what's important is follow your feelings. There might be a crystal that you are very in tune with, that you feel, where can I place this crystal in my garden, in what plant, and trust your intuition. That's really important. There are many others that you can use in dispelling negative energies, which amethyst is one. The rose quartz is another. And I might add rose quartz, I would also use in your bird baths and the fountains. Excellent one, but again, use a good piece, okay? Also tourmaline, sodalite, very, very good, those ones. The tourmaline, black tourmaline, excellent for if you've got a sick or ailing plant, it will help. All the jaspers are excellent, as Stephen mentioned, the jaspers before, with when he was talking about the animals. Black obsidian and black onyx, very good again. They're very good. The black obsidian and the onyx are very good for your vegetable plants and when you're growing food. Very good because they protect from disease and pests and just keep that air of protection. So if you're growing tomatoes or strawberries, or if you're into growing that sort of thing, very good one. Look to the black and protective crystals, will really help. But again, follow your intuition. That's the most important thing. Follow your feelings. So I hope that's given you a little bit of information that you can put into practice, because crystals can be used. Now, I just want to add one more thing in the garden, which is interesting, which not all crystals will carry, that we come across in life, will carry a positive energy. Like anything in this world, any item, this table, anything, a watch, can carry residual energy. I hope we all understand that. And sometimes if you ever come across, or you might be given a crystal and you don't feel it's quite right, or something's wrong with it, a little tip you can do is you can actually bury it in the garden, and that will actually, the earth will absorb that negative energy and purify that crystal again, so it will help with that. So if you ever come across that situation, that is a very good way of purifying a crystal again. So I hope you've enjoyed that little bit of info. Have we any questions, Stephen?
Not at the moment. No, we don't. I think everyone's enjoyed it so far, Chris. You can carry on.
Put that into practice, and you've got everything you need. If you've any questions, perhaps you're watching this video a bit later on, don't be afraid to comment or to send us a message. That's absolutely fine.
And there's a few that wants the information being sent to them.
Yeah, that's fine. We can do that. And yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this afternoon session. We have. And whatever you're choosing to do the rest of your day, good time to get out in the garden now, put all this into practice, or people running around after the cats with a crystal now or something. But doesn't it just show you that we're all connected? Because one of the most common questions we get when we're talking about crystals or healing, can I do this on my animal? Can I? Yeah, of course you can, is the answer. It's only going to be as beneficial as it is for you as well. So you're passing that energy along. So lots of love from us all here at the Purple Mountain, and just want to say to everybody, I hope you're staying safe, staying positive, and we hope you enjoyed this video today. And for now, I'm going to say bye bye.